Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of Mondays Are for the Nerds. I'm your co-host, Jay Wright.
And I'm your other co-host, Tristan Stump.
Thank you for joining us on another week where we got another double episode for you because your boy was sick last week.
Ish, because we both kind of...
True.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Probably not as beefy as our previous, double episodes, but
No.
yeah. We just kind of, we're hitting with the every other week thing this so far, but we're trying not to do that, but you know.
Yeah, we actively had plans to record last weekend, and then I was like, I got a fever. So let's not. But yeah, thank you for joining us as we recap the past 2 weeks of pop culture news, nerdy news that you might have missed or you might have seen and you want to hear us talk about. Thank you for joining us. Did you do anything these past 2 weeks?
Yes, I did. Played more Metaphor. I'm actually pretty
Nice.
close. I am in the end game. I have
We're in the
something
end
like
game now.
17 end game days to do stuff, and then before I get to the final dungeon, and then it's over. Dude, this is like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Just so good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just as an RPG, there's so many good things about it. I mean, like I said, fighting people in the overworld and all. Like I've talked about the gameplay before, so I will not get too deep into it now because I've already done that before.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying this experience so much. I did have to turn it down to easy at a certain point
I've had to do that on a couple games.
because RPGs are grindy. You're supposed to go and over level and stuff. And I had been doing that a little bit, but I was like, man, this game's really good at even if I'm a little behind on levels, it still lets me there are things in place to balance that out. And then you get to a certain point and the game's like, nope, you're supposed to be over leveled now. So if you didn't know about that earlier, if you hadn't played it before, you might do what I did or decided to go and back and grind. But I'm like, I'm not going back that far. But anyway, so I will be beating it on easy instead of normal, which I don't like doing. But
yeah, that's like a last ditch effort for me if I have to do that.
But I'm like at this point, I'm like, I'm not gonna get high enough. I might be high enough now, but like I was fighting bosses that were level 60 and I was like level 48. And I'm like, crap.
So you got a ways to go.
Yeah. So
If you hadn't.
but yeah, I have like 4 more optional bosses to fight, I believe, and then like 1 more character that I need to max out my relationship with them, and then it will all be taken care of.
Nice.
And I will beat the game. I will see the ending. There are so many twists and stuff, man. That I all caps just wanted to all caps that. I'm like, Jay
might play this.
Jay might play this.
Don't spoil it for him.
I cannot spoil it for you more than I already have slightly. Like I
wouldn't know.
some of the party members that join you and stuff you've seen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That is kind of like they join you. That's cool, but like they're on the main box art.
Yeah, so it's stuff like
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you watch a trailer and it's in the trailer, it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah, like if you for an RPG look on the box art, there is a good chance the character on the box art is either a major villain or a party member, or both. Sometimes both, but
Yeah.
this game has made me cry so many times.
Good.
Like good, where it's like the story
Good.
the story to this is just so good, so good.
So, period, good period, in all caps.
Yes, absolutely. Another game I played that was also a 2024 release, and I'm like, gosh darn it, I wish I'd played it sooner because it probably would have replaced one of the games in the 15 we talked about.
Oh, is it the one you sent me?
Yeah, it's called UFO 50. I'd mentioned it on here before, but it is framed as this like game preservation team found this computer of 50 games from an old company from the 80s called UFO Soft. They were like, here's these 50 games for preservation's sake, play them. You find lore within the games that kind of you figure things out about the company, but that's not the main focus. That's just kind of if you're looking for it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
But it's 50 full-fledged retro games, like not like mini games. You could argue some of the more earlier games that are more arcadey are like mini games, but like I would say there are 50 full games in the sake of like if I put this in on my NES, I would take this as a full NES game.
Yeah.
They're all so good. Like one I think is bad on purpose. So if you say it's like I say they're also good, but I also like such a wide variety of games that I don't find.
It's hard to find something that's like bad.
Yeah.
Me with movies.
My favorite so far has been this one called Night House or Night Manor that my sister and I actually played together. And it is a retro point and click horror game, like inspired by those kind of games from the time period of like computer point and click. You have to use a controller though. You cannot use a mouse for it. And so you're like getting inventory items and solving those puzzles and stuff, but also There is, I don't know if I haven't played enough to figure out if you spend too long in one room or not, but there's a masked killer that stalks you around the house, and you have to you either have to try to stab him with something in your inventory, or go find a hiding spot. And if you use a hiding spot too much, he gets rid of that hiding spot. He will he will get smart enough.
So it narrows down.
It narrows down how many hiding spots you find until you beat the game. There's multiple endings and stuff. And a cool thing is the reason they want you to use a controller, not a mouse, is you use a controller to move your cursor. And when the killer's in the room, it shakes and it resists your movement. So it makes things a little harder. So you like to scroll through your inventory so it's almost like you want to run, because scrolling through your inventory, if the knife is like several toggles down, then you have to hope he doesn't get you before you toggle that. So that's my favorite so far. But there's also so many others that I haven't played that were like, oh, this is my favorite until I played that one. So it could flip flop. There's one. It is a 30-hour RPG set in the Wild West.
Like a full 30 hours?
Yeah, full 30-hour RPG game that's set in the Wild West. That might be my favorite once I actually sit down and play it. But, I want to finish Metaphor first. I made a vow that this year I will finish games. Even if I take like a day break to play something else. Yeah. Like tonight, as late as it is, I'll go play something else tonight because I don't have time to sit down for Metaphor. I will probably play Metaphor tomorrow. But anyway, that's the whole thing. So yeah, those are the two things, like major thing I played. And I watched an anime that we had talked about on here before that you were like, oh, that sounds funny. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll kill any dungeon boss to clock out on time.
Yeah. The one I said that gave me Haley vibes.
Yeah. Yep. I watched it. Haley, if you're listening, which I know you are, watch it. Yeah. So dude, it's so fun. I've only watched the first 2 episodes because the first 2 episodes are in English. As of the time of this recording. It's so funny, man.
It's always giving me...
Well, because it's like no one can find out she's killing these bosses because she would get fired. So she's a vigilante.
And she's got to be extra careful.
She's got to be extra careful. And then the leader of the main adventuring group sees that it's her and figures out it's her and kind of falls in love with her and is trying to get her to join the adventuring party because she beats up this boss, and so their heavy hitter guy feels really bad about it and puts himself into retirement because he's like, this sucks, and like and so he's like, we need you to be our heavy hitter, and she's just like, no. And that's kind of like where the dynamic goes from there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm enjoying it so much. So I watched that. I watched more of. I'm kind of getting more like in an anime mood, so I've been watching. I do that. I'll go in and out of wanting to watch anime. Yeah. So I've been watching Wisteria Wand and Sword, which is one I had started a while back. I don't know if I talked about it on here or not. But this guy is born without being able to use magic, and his best friend is like a magic prodigy. Is a magic prodigy. And so they go to basically like this Hogwarts-like school, and she is almost immediately made to be part of the Magic Guard, which is like that lives in this big tower in the center of the town. And he vows to her that even without magic, he will become a Magic Guard, and they will rise to the top of the tower together so they can see the stars for the first time together. Aww. And so it's like this perpetual kind of love story where he becomes a powerful swordsman so he can become a Magic Guard anyway. And she like kind of like watches from the sidelines and stuff just to wait and see what he's doing. And there's all of course other characters get involved. There's a classmate of his who's his only friend because he's born without magic. Everyone treats him like crap. But he's got this one friend who also has a crush on him, so you feel bad for her because it's like, you know, where this show, romance-wise, the show's going for the childhood best friend. Like, that's not... She has no chance.
And you can see heartbreak in the future for that one.
So I'm really enjoying that one. It's got kind of like a... not chill, because there's fights, but like...
Laid back a little bit.
And like in its pacing. Every episode just kind of like you get a bunch of information, but not a whole lot happens. Yeah. So you're like, it's kind of like a good... Season 2 is already on the way, so I'm excited. I might have to pick up the manga it's based on. So, yeah, that's basically what I did this week, the last 2 weeks. What'd you do?
Not much. Of course, I had practice, and then I'm working here every once in a while. I did text you I finished Cheers.
Yes.
Finally, I think was it yesterday? Day before?
Yeah, you finished Cheers yesterday.
Yesterday. Finally finished it. I was thinking about it. I'm like, wow, I finished 2 of the most iconic sitcoms in the span of less like 9 months.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm like,
It and Modern
with multiple seasons, like
It
good
and
amount of
Modern
seasons
Family
worth.
with both. I think
but they both have 11 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you watched
Smart
22
Family might have 10.
seasons of television in 9 months while also watching almost every major movie release.
And trying to watch almost big TV release.
And playing some of our big game releases.
And playing some of the big game releases where I'm like, wow. Of course, there's background noise at this point. But loved it. I loved it. I was kind of sad watching the series finale because I texted you I got to like the last 3 and they're like, it's a 3-part finale. And I loved it. And then I started Frasier last night and watched a little bit more of it. Of course, I've seen more Frasier
Yeah,
before.
you've seen, Frasier's one of those ones where you'll turn on like Hallmark Channel or TV
Cozy
Land
TV.
or something.
Yeah. And it'll be
it's
Frasier.
It and Golden Girls are like the 2 shows that cable networks love to play at like 2 in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd seen enough to know, like, I knew the characters. I knew what happens.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I need to watch Cheers, of course. And then I'm like, because I think I'm 7 episodes deep in Frasier season 1. And there's already been like Lilith callbacks that I wouldn't know about.
So many references to Cheers happen in Frasier that.
Yeah, and I know almost all the characters are going to show up at one point.
Yeah.
On their own. Loved it. Of course, I've seen movies, but we'll get into those later. I haven't really played much games. I get home and I'm like watching either new shows or Pop Culture Jeopardy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's about all I've done. I'm into Red Dead 1 now, after Red Dead 2. After taking a good 5 minutes to explain the chronology of Red Dead and Red Dead 2 to my mom.
Oh, because she was like, why are you playing the first one?
Yeah, she's like, weren't you still playing this? Because I was playing as John in Red Dead 1. And I'm like, yeah, this is Red Dead. Well, this is a new game. She's like, well, you were just playing this him earlier. And I'm like, yeah, that was from Red Dead 2. And I'm like, was this one set before? I'm like, no, Red Dead 1 is set after Red Dead 2. Well, then why were you playing as John? I'm like, that was the epilogue, Mom. You play as John in the epilogue, Mom. But
it leads into the first one.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, that was a good 5 minute. That's about all I've done. Of course, between getting sick twice and got the Super Bowl coming up. That's about it. Trying to get my releases for the past 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
I do have a correction. From the last episode, I mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was available on Apple TV Plus. It was actually made a release on VOD/digital and available to rent on Apple TV Plus wherever you rent your movies at. So it wasn't specifically an Apple TV Plus release. But moving on from that, on the VOD/digital side on Tuesday, January 28th, for Den of Thieves 2 Pantera for the 3rd episode in a row was available to rent. In theaters on Friday, January 31st, Valiant 1, a U.S. helicopter goes down in North Korea and a group of reserve soldiers must find a way out before starting a war. Companion came out. A weekend getaway turns bloody and violent when a subservient android that's built for human companionship goes haywire. Green and Gold, foreclosure looms over Wisconsin dairy farmer Buck, played by Craig T. Nelson. With mounting debt and the land his family has cultivated for 4 generations at risk, Buck refuses to give up his legacy without a fight. Buck's granddaughter, played by Madison Lawler, works alongside him but dreams of a career in music. Love Me got a limited release in a story that spans billions of years. A buoy and a satellite meet online long after humanity's extinction. As they learn what life was like on Earth, they discover themselves and what it means to be alive and in love. And Dogman, for the 3rd episode in a row, got a release. For those of you who have not read the Dave Pilkey series or to even know about it, when a police officer and his faithful police dog get injured in the line of duty, a harebrained but life-saving surgery fuses the 2 of them together, and Dogman is born. As Dogman learns to embrace his new identity, he must stop feline supervillain Petey the cat from cloning himself and going on a crime spree. We did get to see this together last week before I felt ill. We never really talked about it because I think we were saving it for the podcast.
Yeah, we were saving it for the podcast. It's cute.
Cute. It was good.
I liked it.
It was good.
For what it is, like target audience and the books
kids
it's
are gonna
based
love
on.
it.
And obviously, if they want to make a sequel, they're not going to pull too much from the books as much as what we. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot pulled from the books that we missed because it's not something we read. But there's stuff I know that's happened in the later books that weren't like characters that are major and stuff that weren't there.
So there's room for to grow.
There's room to grow, but what's there was really good.
Really good.
I wouldn't call it laugh out loud unless
you're a kid. Because Dogman's is
It is
very much more kids focused than Captain Underpants is.
Yes,
I will say.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
Well, some of the subject matter of the later books,
absolutely.
I'm like, that's very emotionally intelligent for a book aimed at
But like in universe, kids wrote it.
Yeah, in
and
universe,
that very much comes across in the movie.
It does almost feel like a movie written by kids.
Yeah.
Who are trying to.
Which, in my opinion, it should.
Yeah. And so, because those who don't know, George and Harold are supposed to have written the Dogman books. That's like the in-universe explanation for the art style and the comedy and all that. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's solid.
I forgot Ricky Gervais was in it until like
solid 8.
I give it a solid at 7 or an 8.
It's not
in the awesome area.
Yeah, it is not the most. It's not like
the good to awesome area.
It's not like the best kids movie in the world, but it certainly is nowhere near being bad.
Yeah,
or
it's
even
a good time.
good. It's awesome. It's
a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
There are definitely laugh out loud moments.
Yeah.
We definitely.
And there's jokes in there for adults.
Oh, there is. There absolutely is.
The adults will catch and be like, "That's funny." Especially the one that it's kind of a spoiler, but
yeah. Pete Davidson's delivery or performance of the role was really, really good. His delivery reminded me a lot of Chris Pratt's Rex. Danger Fist.
Yep.
Especially there's a couple lines where it almost sounds like he's trying to sound like Rex Danger Fist, which I know he wasn't. But
where you're putting on an evil voice.
Yeah.
But for those of you who haven't seen the Lego Movie 2,
yeah, it was just a good time. A lot of awe moments, a lot of funny moments, and you just have to go in knowing if you expect like
it's not the Wild Robot.
No,
it's not gonna tear you up inside.
And also you also have to go in and be like, well, I guess this just makes sense now. Like you cannot go in with any. It's a story about a man whose dog's head was attached to his body, and
exactly, and the dog is a smart one.
Yeah, so it
is a kids movie in multiple ways.
Yeah,
both logistically and literally and in canon. It's a kids movie.
Yeah, it's a kids movie through and through.
Yeah,
but it also like between this and Wild Robot and what came before it.
DreamWorks
was Kung Fu Panda 4 before Wild Robot? Was that the movie right before?
It was in March.
All right, so starting with Wild Robot, I would say like this and Dogman, and I think the next movie is Bad Guys 2.
Because I wouldn't necessarily count How to Train Your Dragon.
No, but like if Bad Guys 2 is really good, they're starting.
And it's looking.
They're starting. Oh yeah, the movie, the little visuals. Short before,
which I forgot was going to happen,
was also there was a Bad Guy short that played before Dogman that was also really good. But like
Little Eyes and
going
Alibis.
off, DreamWorks is kind of on a streak again because we were kind of thinking, let's see, Kung Fu Panda 4 was before that, and it was fine.
It was all right.
It was fine, but
as a big Kung Fu Panda fan, I'm like, it's all right.
But we know about behind the scenes things about it where we're like, okay, DreamWorks might be kind of. Getting, corporate's getting a little too involved and all that, or corporate. Higher ups are getting a little too involved.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what came out before that.
I think it was Ruby Gillman and then Puss in Boots going backwards.
Oh man, was it Ruby Gillman? Was it really? Man, dude, I tell you, the passage of time.
Because I thought we Googled. I think we have Googled this
before. We're Google break. We're going to Google Trolls Band Together.
Oh, was that 2023?
That was 2023. That was after Ruby Gillman. So okay. So we had. If we want to go on like their ups and downs since like 2020 has started, you got Trolls World Tour, which is actually pretty good. It's a pretty good movie.
Where's the ball?
And then you have Crude's New Age,
which is peak.
Phenomenal.
Even amongst our friend group, which is phenomenal.
Even if it's not that good, like personally. And then you got Spirit Untamed, which I've never watched. I don't know how that one is. But you have Boss Baby, Family Business. It's Boss Baby. It was
all right.
But you have Bad Guys. You have Puss in Boots: Last Wish, and the Ruby Gillman just kind of like started to teeter it downwards, band together, kind of dragged it down a little more.
And then Kung Fu Panda 3 started, or 4 started.
And then Wild Robot just shot it up. I'd say Dogman kind of keeps it steady. So
plateau maybe, yeah.
So yeah, I don't that long rant short.
It's not going down.
Yeah, Dogman 7, 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
cannot wait to see
Worth your time.
Bad Guys 2.
I
really hope that between Dogman and Captain Underpants that they do another one of those, either or.
We need a wedgie woman to show up.
Oh yeah, Yeah.
I need the hamster too.
She might have shown up in the Netflix show, but I don't know how
haven't
much
seen
they're
any
actually
of the
paying
Netflix
attention
shows.
to the Netflix. I watched
the Dragons Race to the Edge.
I
'cause
watched
that's
one
phenomenal.
episode of the Captain Underpants Netflix show, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm no longer in the target audience for Captain Underpants, aren't I?" Because that
That's
was
where
like
it's like-
2018.
Yeah, really.
So-
the only one that's like made for, I say our age, is not made for 24-year-olds, but Dragons Race to the Edge.
Oh yeah,
Fantastic, phenomenal,
and
amazing.
the Puss in Boots Netflix show is also really good.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know if you can still watch it because the DreamWorks Netflix shows have kind of tended to disappear after a while, but
I know Race to the Edge is still on there because I just
just saw it. But yeah. Also, you have your finger on that pulse specifically, so
I did. I did.
But yeah, pretty good movie.
Good. And on Friday, February 7th in theaters, Heart Eyes came out. A masked maniac with glowing red eyes returns every Valentine's Day to terrorize unsuspecting couples. We should say we're recording a day early, so anything we miss we'll get next week. And then also came out today, Love Hurts, for a second episode in a row. Marvin is a Milwaukee realtor who receives a crimson envelope from Rose, a former partner in crime, whom he left for dead. He now finds himself thrust back into a world of ruthless hitmen and double crosses that turn his open houses into deadly war zones. Hunted by his brother, a volatile crime lord, Marvin must confront the choices that haunt him and the history he never truly buried. You are getting my fresh reactions from this. This has been on I wanted to see it for a while. I was excited for it. I love the trailer for it. It was all right. I could definitely see its flaws. Some of the writing at times was good, but most of the time, I'd say 70% of the time, I was like, it could have been written better. It had some soap opera elements to it, but also I love Ke Huy Quan, and I want him to keep doing his ministry. The action was really good. The action was really good. And I will say, it's not really a spoiler, but one of the weapons that's used is a boba straw at some point. And what I loved is you can hear the air as this movie flowing through that, flowing through the straw. Loved that. Loved it. And the action was really good. Marshawn Lynch was hilarious, which I knew he would be going into it. Really short, so it's really quick in and out action. Like I said, it was just all right. I wanted more from it, and I wanted it to be better than it was. But it wasn't as I wasn't as disappointed as Kraven the Hunter. I give it a solid 5. It's not deserving of a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's for sure. But I give it about a 5. On streaming, Thursday, January 30th, You're Cordially Invited came out on Amazon Prime Video. A woman planning her sister's ideal wedding and the father of a bride-to-be discover their destination weddings at a remote resort are double booked. When both parties decide to share the small venue, chaos ensues and disaster awaits. We also both got to see this.
Yeah, so we watched it separately. This one we didn't watch
yeah.
together. This is in the same boat as Brothers.
Yep.
Where I recognize that this movie is not that good. But I also loved it regardless. It's a good time. It's Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell
just going at each other,
just being
one-upping one another.
Just one-upping each other, and the comedy that ensues from there.
The alligator scene from the trailer and poster, obviously.
Oh, the alligator scene.
My favorite scene from the trailer from the movie.
The cover song that plays during the credits. Is
arguably the theme song of the movie.
Yeah, legitimately really good, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We were listening to it, and my dad was like, "Dang, they sound good together." Yeah,
They do.
oh, dude.
I just found myself dying so many times.
The aunt or sister or whatever, you know who I'm talking about. Dude. There's not much we can say about this movie that specifically the thing about comedies is you cannot talk about anything without specifically spoiling it because it's a
jokes.
specific joke.
Exactly.
But it is just really funny.
It was about as funny as I thought it would be, and as about as I wanted it to be.
Critically, it's probably about a 5.
Yeah,
but
if you're going in for a good time,
if you're going in for just a good funny time, if you have a low bar for comedy like we do.
No, you're not wrong.
It's like a solid 8.
It's so accurate. You nailed me to a T. Oh. It's a good time. I'd recommend it. On Wednesday, February 5th, Kinda Pregnant dropped on Netflix. When Lainey's plan to settle down, start a family falls apart, she puts on a fake baby bump, tells a lie, and accidentally falls for her dream guy. Friday, February 7th, We Live in Time dropped on Max. On the TV side of things, on Sunday, January 26th, we got the series premiere of Watson on CBS. Monday, January 27th, saw the season premiere of The Bachelor on ABC. Season 6 premiere of History's Greatest Mysteries, and the series premiere of History's Most Shocking, both on History Channel. Wednesday, January 29th, Mythic Quest Season 4 dropped on Apple TV+, and American Manhunt O.J. Simpson, the new docuseries, dropped on Netflix. School Spirit Season 2 dropped on Paramount Plus on Thursday, January 30th. Monday, February 3rd, saw the All-American Season 7 premiere on the CW and the 911 Lone Star series finale on Fox. Wednesday, February 5th, saw Season 2 of Wild Cards drop on CW, or premiere on CW. Love You to Death Season 1 on Apple TV Plus and Envious Season 2 on Netflix. Thursday, February 6th had quite a bit. Apple Cider Vinegar, the limited series, dropped on Netflix. Season 6 of The Kardashians dropped on Hulu. Season 3 of Invincible started on Amazon Prime Video. And also on Prime Video, Clean Slate got its series premiere. And Celebrity Bear Hunt Season 1 dropped on Netflix. And on Friday, February 7th, NCIS Sydney Season 2 premiered on CBS. Two things in music real quick. Will Smith appears as Neo from The Matrix in his new music video titled Beautiful Scars. And The Weeknd released his 6th studio album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, which probably going to be his last one. Completes the trilogy of albums that started with After Hours and continued with Dawn FM. He also announced his tour for it. So I did listen to it. I loved it. Some of my favorites are Baptized by Fear, Open Hearts, because they like lead. I love when he like fuses songs together seamlessly. Those two are like that. And then the title track, Hurry Up Tomorrow, Wake Me Up is really good. And of course, I love The Weeknd. You know I do. It's my first concert.
Question before we move on.
Yes.
The Will Smith Neo thing, is that the Matrix thing he was teasing, you think?
Yes. And everyone's like, calm down. It's probably just a Super Bowl ad. No, it was a music video. I haven't seen it.
It's kind of disappointing because the idea of a Will Smith Matrix project.
Yeah. That is all of most of my music news. Like I said, we'll get to some more later.
On to gaming releases.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have a couple from last week. A lot of the news from last week, there wasn't much on my end, so there's not a whole lot. If I missed anything, I was like scrolling through and doing my research, and I didn't see anything that was too major, especially because I didn't have a lot of time this week to do as much research as I would like, so a lot of it was focused on what happened this week. But last week we did have on January 28th the release of Stone of Madness on all major platforms from The Game Kitchen and publisher Tripwire Presents. From the studio that brought you the Blasphemous series comes the Stone of Madness, a real-time tactical stealth game set in the 18th century Spanish monastery. Located in the Pyrenees, the time-worn monastery is home to a madhouse and an inquisitional prison. 5 prisoners, plagued by cruel punishment, madness, and despair, pool their skills and resources to face their phobias, stave off insanity, uncover the mysteries of the monastery, and find a way to escape. On January 30th, Spider-Man 2 made its way to PC. Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 Safe Haven, released on PC from Mob Entertainment. You are pushed deeper into the undiscovered depths of Playtime Co., far below anything the world knew. Here you'll encounter terrifying new threats and discover shocking revelations. Can you outwit the unnatural new creations lurking in the shadows? Can you survive here long enough to eventually unravel the mysteries behind the experiments? Every step will test your courage, every puzzle will challenge your mind, and every corner may be your last. So, moving on, January 31st, The Sims 1 and 2 Legacy Collection. I believe they're separate games. I don't think 1 and 2's released together. Mm-hmm. On PC from EA and Maxis, run the classic games on Windows 10 and 11. On February 3rd, we got Spirit Swap Lo-Fi Beats to Match 3-2 on PC from Soft Not Weak. Samar is a young witch who works the spirit-swapping night shift in the eastern outskirts of Damask. A recent spike in spirits crossing over from the other dimension within the borders of the city has them puzzling over what's going on. With friends needing help and a popular band scheduled to kick off their big comeback tour in Damask, Samar needs to work quickly before the city is overrun with stands and spirits alike. Spirit Swap is an action puzzle meets narrative game set in a lush world of witchy demons. On February 4th, we had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC from devs Warhouse Studios and publisher Deep Silver, a thrilling story action RPG with a rich open world set in a 15th century medieval Europe. Experience the ultimate medieval nature or adventure through the eyes of young Henry as you embark on a journey of epic proportions. On February 5th, we had Mechanita on PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch from East Asia Soft and Sagitta Studios. Get ready for a steampunk-themed adventure in Mechanita, a side-scrolling platformer packed with brain-teasing pixel art stages. Take control of a goggled heroine as she carefully navigates 50 unique levels of gradually increasing complexity. Run, jump, and shoot with precision as you try to reach the airship at the far end of each stage. Avoid spike traps and roving enemies. Hop on prop-driven lifts. Use your blaster to stun robotic foes and jump on their heads to reach greater heights. Will you master this wonderfully mechanized world or fall victim to its clockwork creations? And Rift of the Necrodancer on PC from devs Brace Yourselves Games and TikTok Games and publisher Clay Publishing. The Necrodancer's back in an all-new rhythm game. Dragged into a strange new world, Cadence must engage in musical combat with monsters surging through the rift. Face pulse-pounding rhythm rifts, where every beat is a battle, all set to an original soundtrack by Danny Baranowski and friends. Also on February 5th, we had While Waiting on PC and Switch from Optilusion. Presented by the team behind critically acclaimed Moncage, is this transformative adventure exploring the art of waiting. Clear the game by doing nothing, but discover the power of acceptance and patience in numerous situations from birth to death. Learn to embrace life as you wait. February 6th, Big Helmet Heroes on all major platforms from developer Exalted Studio and publisher Dear Villagers. Step into the world of Big Helmet Heroes, a cinematic 3D beat-em-up adventure that combines stunning visuals, movie-quality animations, and exhilarating action. Join adorable knights on a quest across fantastical realms, play with a friend in two-player co-op mode to rescue the princess and uncover even greater challenges ahead. We also got Everwarder on PC from devs Q-Late and publishers Indie.io and Paris Games. Everwarder is a refreshing take on the tower defense genre, blending roguelite mechanics with a time-based survival concept. Fight against the encroaching darkness and fend off emerging enemies. Collect artifacts, buy upgrades, discover ancient structures, unlock new suits, and more. Let's Cook Together 2 on PC, Xbox, and Switch from Yellow Dot. Let's Cook Together 2 is a frantic cooking game for 1 to 4 players. Learn over 65 dish recipes, master 250 levels, upgrade your kitchen appliances, and travel around the world to make cooking meaningful again. Communication is the key.
We need to play a game like that for our Let's Plays.
It would be so, dude. You talk like I was like, oh man, Heave Ho's gonna make us so mad. No, those games we're actually gonna be getting mad at each other because Heave Ho, we found it too funny to get mad.
Yeah,
but yeah. Momodora Moonlit Farewell was ported to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. We also got Starlight Legacy on PC from devs Decathlon and publishers East Asia Soft and Decathlon. Explore the vast Averia Kingdom in this 16-bit JRPG adventure. As the fate of the kingdom hangs in balance, 3 warriors are tasked with finding the Starlight relics scattered across the forest, mountain, desert, and sky. Collect the 4 relics in any order in this non-linear retro RPG. Stray Path, also released on PC from Chix Games and publisher Yogscast Games.
I don't know why they got me. Yogscast?
You know, Yog. It's a YouTube channel.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Stray Path is an innovative adventure and strategy game that blends free cell mechanics with roguelike gameplay. Choose from colorful characters and explore a randomly generated world. Drag cards, optimize your choices, collect equipment, and uncover the mysteries of this mysterious stray world. On February 7th, we got a game about digging a hole on PC from Cyrowave and publisher Rocaplay Boutique and Drill Hounds. A minimalist game about digging a hole in the garden of a newly purchased house to collect resources, sell them, upgrade your equipment, and discover a mysterious secret. Costs you only 1 coffee.
Yes.
We also got Slender Threads on PC from Blitz. In this paranormal point-and-click adventure, a traveling salesman races to stop a string of horrific deaths in a quiet seaside town before he's next.
What a 180 for dig a hole.
I have mentioned this on here before, I believe. I've been very excited about it for years. This has been in development for a long time. And I say a long time, it could only be like the last 4 years, but like still, like
still that's a long time.
4 years ago, I think the 2020s is kind of muddled together, but I played the demo for this, and I played it again this past summer because I'm waiting. Like, they're getting pretty close to announcing a release date, and they finally announced it, February 7th. And it's here, and I can't wait to play it. I'm so excited.
You're gonna get it?
I'm definitely getting it as soon as I can possibly afford to.
Yes.
But there's other things I need to save up for, both important and not important. So,
Switch to.
But yeah, those are my releases for this week.
I have my first batch of miscellaneous. Once again, this week, buckle up, people. On posters, we got a poster for Sinners, Alien Earth, The White Lotus Season 3, The Wedding Banquet Remake, Love Hurts, Squid Game Season 3, Cobra Kai Season 5, The Monkey, Final Destination Bloodlines, Another Simple Favor, the live-action Gundam movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, Smurfs, Invincible Season 3, and the 97th Oscars. In trailers, we got these past 2 weeks. Sinners, releasing April 18th in theaters. Alien Earth, releasing summer 2025 on Hulu. The White Lotus Season 3, February 16th on HBO. The Baldwins, releasing February 23rd on TLC. Karate Kids Legends, releasing May 30th in theaters. The Wedding Banquet, releasing April 18th in theaters. Wednesday Season 2, releasing sometime in 2025 on Netflix. You Season 5, April 24th on Netflix. The Residents, March 20th on Netflix. Ash, March 21st in theaters. Invincible Season 3 for the third episode in a row, which did premiere this week. The Old Guard 2, releasing July 2nd on Netflix. The Righteous Gemstone Season 4, premiering March 9th on HBO. Final Destination Bloodlines, releasing May 16th in theaters. Megan 2.0, releasing June 27th in theaters. Cobra Kai Season 5, the last batch of episodes, releasing February 13th on Netflix. Jurassic World Rebirth, for the third episode in a row, releasing July 2nd in theaters. Hurry Up Tomorrow, releasing May 16th in theaters. Plankton the Movie, for the second episode in a row, releasing March 7th on Netflix. Smurfs, releasing July 18th in theaters. Novocaine, releasing March 14th in theaters. And Mickey 17, for the second episode in a row, releasing March 7th in theaters. There are more, but we'll get to those later.
So other trailers we'll talk about later, so I won't mention them now. But I figure Plankton, there's no other point in the episode we'll talk about Plankton.
I don't think I have any new first looks or anything. Or new looks.
Those, I don't know if I actually... we wouldn't have talked about it here. Plankton leaked completely. When Sandy Cheeks, the movie...
I was going to ask you if this leaked, I forgot.
When the Sandy Cheeks movie was released on Netflix, like that same day, people were like, oh, hey, Plankton the movie's also like in the files here. And so you could watch it in its entirety somewhere on the internet before March 7th. I'm choosing not to. I haven't watched the Sandy Cheeks movie yet. I've heard it's mid. I've heard it's absolutely mid.
I've heard it's not good.
Like, even for like turn on Netflix and have it be noise for your kids standards.
Yeah. I've heard it's like don't even.
Yeah. But
why try it?
For the sake of being the SpongeBob fan I am, I have to watch it.
Yeah, you're obligated to watch it.
But I've heard Plankton is great. Good? Which part of it is because the guy that voices Plankton, Mr. Lawrence, has also been writing for the show since the beginning. Mm-hmm. So there's probably a little bit of that reasoning why he wrote it with a couple other writers from the show, obviously. Yeah. And it's about Plankton and Karen's relationship, which is always a good plot when you want to make Plankton a little like if you want to make Plankton the main hero of an episode of SpongeBob, it's usually something to do with Karen. And so I've heard it's great. You watched the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea
like,
the idea that Karen gets fed up with Plankton is like, you know what? I'll take over the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'm actually, because of things I've heard about the people who watched the movie early.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for it.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Doesn't seem like there's gonna be because every SpongeBob movie, even the Sandy Cheeks one, has had just some obligatory like celebrity appearance. Obviously, the first SpongeBob movie,
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff, but like the new characters they introduced were voiced by big actors too. Mm-hmm. SpongeBob movie 2 had Antonio Banderas and
Keanu Reeves is in Sponge Out of Water.
Keanu Reeves is Sponge Out of Water alongside Danny
or Sponge on the Run.
Sponge on the Run. Yeah, Sponge Out of Water is
the second one.
Is the second one that has Antonio Banderas and a couple others.
Yeah.
And then Sponge on the Run has Keanu Reeves, Danny Trejo.
I forgot about Danny Trejo.
And a whole slew of others.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then even like the new one that's coming out this December is Mark Hamill's The Flying Dutchman, instead of Brian Doyle Murray for some reason.
Yeah.
And then Sandy Cheeks has Wanda Sykes. So it's like this one we have not heard that anyone new is like a celebrity cameos in. We've just heard that the
Which
main
would mean it'll be a
SpongeBob
good
cast
surprise.
is in it, so it's either going to be a surprise or it's
Or
just
they're
not
not
going to
gonna be able to
happen. But yeah, we'll see.
Be more grounded. I'm excited to watch it. And release dates. Parasite will be re-releasing in IMAX on February 7th. I guess I didn't include that. To celebrate the 5th anniversary of the film, winning Best Picture at the Oscars. Together will release August 1st in theaters. Follows a couple's move to the countryside when it triggers a supernatural incident that drastically alters their relationship and physical form, starring Alison Brie and Dave Franco. Caught Stealing, Darren Aronofsky's crime thriller, releases on August 29th in theaters. Insidious 6 was delayed a year to August 21st, 2026. Squid Game Season 3 releases on Netflix on June 27th. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie releases in November on Netflix. Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery releases in fall 2025 on Netflix. The Old Guard 2 releases July 2nd on Netflix. The Toxic Avenger, for the second episode in a row, finally got a release date of August 29th in theaters. Of course, it was made like 2 years ago. Another Simple Favor will release on May 1st on Amazon Prime Video. For those that don't know, that's a Simple Favor sequel. The Phineas and Ferb revival will release this summer on Disney Channel and Disney Plus, like they did with Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. So excited. Anyone who's not excited for this is just, they hate laughter. Golden. The film was canceled after it didn't live up to expectations. Inspired by Pharrell Williams' childhood, it was already shot and would have starred Kelvin Harrison Jr., Halle Bailey, Quinta Brunson, and Jabuki Young-White. It was announced today. And The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, was pushed back 2 weeks to March 14th this year.
I am so disappointed. I am like...
Just wait a little bit longer for it.
Yeah, and...
And then on castings, Scream 7 for the third episode in a row. Did you see these?
Scream 7, yes.
Mark Consuelos has been cast, and then they got 2 returning. Scott Foley is returning. He previously appeared as Sidney's half-brother and the Ghostface Killer in Scream 3. And Matthew Lillard is returning as Stu Macher from the first one?
From the first one, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Who?
And it was the first or second one. Was he the Ghostface Killer?
Remember. Yeah, he is. He is.
It was him and
one other guy.
Yeah.
But doesn't his character die? I could have sworn
both of these die.
Yeah, so
that's where I'm like, is this going to be like a
hallucinations or it's somehow Palpatine returned?
You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. Trey said last night, your laugh sounds like death. Mike, it's true. Oh, it has to be a hallucination. Even Scream, I don't think can bring people back from the dead. So they got to keep it grounded a little bit. The Odyssey for the 4th episode in a row. This is going to be our new Glenn Powell because I have more in miscellaneous. We got a couple more castings. Benny Safdie, John Leguizamo, Elliot Page, and Himesh Patel have been cast. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, Lance Barber will return as George Cooper. Speaking of...
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Okay. David Johnson has been cast in Frank Ocean's directorial debut movie. House of the Dragon Season 3 has cast James Norton as Ormond Hightower. Dan Stevens is in talks to return in the Godzilla x Kong sequel. Anna Sawai is being eyed to play Yoko Ono in the Sam Mendes Beatles movies. The late Tony Todd has confirmed to be starring in Final Destination Bloodlines, probably his final role. Anaconda. Did you see how Jack Black announced the more casts that have been added to it?
I didn't.
The cast has been added. Tondway Newton, I always forget how to say that. Steve Zahn, Selton Mello, Daniela Melchior, and Ion Sky. Of course, Jack Black and Paul Rudd. But there's like, he's singing to it, and he's just like singing about how they're going through the journey. It's like Tony Newton's like there at the desk with a script, and then part of it's blurred out for some reason. Paul Rudd's just sitting on the bed playing like bongo or something, and he's just singing, riffing about all the people who are joining the cast. And he's like, and Steve too. And it just shows up a picture of Steve Zahn. And it's like, I love it. I'm so excited. We have to go see that. The 97th Oscars. Cillian Murphy, Emma Stone, Robert Downey Jr., and Divine Joy Randolph will present the acting awards. Previously announced they will not be using the Fab Five format this year. And Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande will open the ceremony with a Wicked medley. Old pals, Brian Cox, Henry Winkler, Emma Roberts, and Evan Rachel Wood have been cast. Film follows comical opposites and recent widowers who are forced to become friends by their daughters. That sounds hilarious. SNL 50, the anniversary special, the first round of appearances in the special were announced, including Martin Short, Sabrina Carpenter, Pedro Pascal, Paul McCartney, Io Debris, Scarlett Johansson, Steve Barton, Kim Kardashian, Robert De Niro, Bad Bunny, Quinta Brunson, Paul Simon, Dave Chappelle, Adam Driver, Tom Hanks, John Mulaney, Woody Harrelson, Miley Cyrus, and Peyton Manning. Bill Skarsgård has been cast in The Death of Robin Hood, and Madeline Klein has been cast in Day Drinker. That is my first batch of miscellaneous news.
On to my gaming news. Nintendo's annual investors meeting was held this previous week. Confirmed that the Switch has sold 150.86 million units, leaving it very close to surpassing the DS as Nintendo's best-selling console of all time. It is third behind the DS and PlayStation 2 as the overall best-selling console of all time. And it probably will surpass at least the DS this year. Don't know about the PS2 because I don't know the numbers for that one, but it'll probably surpass the DS this year because not everyone's going to immediately switch to Switch 2, especially if it releases so much late into this year.
Yeah.
Very exciting. There was other exciting news about it, but that's specifically the one that was like, that's
Podcast is back to Numbers Watch.
yeah.
It's like Inside Out 2 all over again.
But I'm trying to think of anything else from the investors meeting I didn't exactly write down. Nintendo now has 72 games made, first-party games, that have crossed at least 1 million copies sold.
Nice.
Which is wild that 72 games on one system made by the company that owns that system have all sold that well. Beta Dwarf has announced Vault Breakers, on a top-down PvPvE action RPG coming to PC. A playtest is available now. Upcoming Bullet Heaven roguelike Soda Man will enter early access on PC February 17th. Poti Poti Games has announced Is This Seat Taken? A relaxing puzzle game about seating passengers with classic clashing quirks and buses in the perfect combination. Coming to mobile and PC at a later date. It's those kind of puzzles where it's like, you have to seat 5 brothers at a restaurant, but brother 1 is mad at brother 5, and
there's reasons why.
It's a game that's nothing but those puzzles.
See, I feel like I love those puzzles.
Dude,
I love
one
those
of my
puzzles.
favorite puzzles of all time. Like, if I were to pick a favorite puzzle from the Professor Layton series, is one of those puzzles. So the fact that there's going to be a game that's nothing but those puzzles, I'm like, yeah,
We're down.
Yeah,
We're down.
Totally.
When's that coming out on?
We have no idea. It's coming to mobile phone and PC at a later date. We don't know yet. Lovecraftian medicinal simulation game Do Not Harm arrives to PC on March 6th from Dart Games. You have 30 days to build a reputation as a local doctor with multiple endings. A farming simulator VR was announced, releases February 28th. Mai from Fatal Fury arrived to Street Fighter 6 on February 5th. Historic City Florence was announced from Stratagem Interactive, a city simulation game of Renaissance era Florence, rebuilding after the Black Plague, coming soon to PC. A demo is available now. A Capcom Spotlight was held on February 4th. Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is receiving a remaster this year to help tide players over for 2026's Onimusha Way of the Sword. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 launches May 16th on, I believe, everything but Xbox. I think it's the same thing with Capcom, the Marvel Capcom Collection, where Xbox came really late for some reason. As well as we got another look at Mai from Fatal Fury before her release the next day.
Yeah.
A Monster Hunter Wild showcase was also featured. Open Beta 2 will feature the monster Arkveld. A new area, Icesard Cliffs, was shown with new enemies. A reminder that the game releases February 28th. Open betas will take place between February 6th and 9th and 13th and 16th. Nintendo confirmed that the start time of the April 2nd Nintendo Direct is 8 a.m. They just randomly posted one morning. 8 a.m. Central Time, I should say.
Yeah.
That's 6 a.m. Pacific. And that's like midnight Japan, I think.
Yeah, midnight Japan. 9 Eastern.
It's so funny because there were rumors going around that there might be a Nintendo Direct announced for February this week, and it was like, today'd be the day they'd announce it, and they're like, oh, just remember, there's a Nintendo Direct in 2 weeks. Happens at 8 in the morning. See ya.
I saw that.
Oh, Nintendo never change. Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance is coming to Nintendo Switch Online February 14th. Ridge Racer for the Nintendo 64 was added January 30th. Date Everything was originally set to release on February 14th. It has been delayed to June 2025.
Oh, man.
Actually,
early show up on the podcast.
Yeah, that's like one of the first.
That was
that's one
already
of your
out.
first like gaming reactions of being like, "What the heck?" and just
Exactly. Like,
Idle fishing game Cast and Chill was announced for PC for a June 2025 release. Multiverses announced its shutdown on May 30th. The last update for Season 5 was on February 4th. Added Aquaman and Lola Bunny. It also fixed almost all the issues players have with the gameplay. Hashtag Save Multiverses is now trending. The game, you could say, has terminal lucidity, which for those who don't know, it's when someone is about to die, they kind of like if their mind is gone, they have like this moment of lucidity of like being there again. And it was, so it's like this game was like, I know how to fix everything, but it's way too late.
Way too late.
They sped up the game. The game feels a lot better to play as. The new characters are fine, but like we never saw the Wicked Witch of the West, even though we know she was basically done. She's the main villain or something in the comic book that they made. Never showed up. In the files, there was 5 more seasons of content planned. So they were at least going to go until January of next year. So it's kind of sad to see it go, especially because they never added anybody like Daffy Duck, Scooby-Doo.
The big hitters.
If you want to talk
names.
about any more Cartoon Network shows, they never touched any of the mid-2000s like Ben 10, Chowder, Foster's Home, anything like that.
Imagine
and
the
then
Gumball
any other Warner Brothers thing, they didn't touch too much into HBO or obviously for Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter was always going to be a licensing problem.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they just didn't utilize as much as they could have that they could have done further down the line had they just made the game feel good to play. Like I was always like, the game feels fine, but it definitely was not as good as the beta.
Yeah.
Like I'll go back. I'll be hypocritical if I did say otherwise earlier, but like it wasn't as great. There's a reason I stopped playing after season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, offline will be available to play for however much time, but the servers are shutting down May 30th. Rocksteady is looking to develop a new single-player Batman game, still years away from release.
Yeah.
A Flash game was considered for development, but rejected upon the film's negative reception, as was a Constantine game. I wish that companies would not look at something doing poorly and being, oh, no one's interested in the character, obviously. It's not that the movie was bad.
The Flash game would be dope.
Right? The previously announced Wonder Woman game has already surpassed $100 million in development cost. The game is still years away from release, if even. We're not even sure if the game's going to come out anymore, and it's already cost that much to make.
What is a normal budget for like a big, say like a Spider-Man level video game?
I don't know, but it's but
$100
million when the game's not even
movie.
When the game's not even anywhere near release yet.
Yeah,
is a lot. That I mean, dude, just saying these companies that are making AAA games need to get their crap figured out because well, it's not just Warner Brothers, it's everybody. But Warner Brothers is just, I mean, since all this news has dropped, there's been more things of like, no, like internally, Warner Brothers Games is not doing okay right now. It's being mismanaged. I mean, obviously, it's costing them $100 million to make a game that's nowhere near done yet, which probably would mean it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just kind of ugh. Take-Two Interactive confirmed that GTA 6 is still slated for a 2025 fall release, as well as confirming that they have they plan to have strong support for Switch 2. And finally, Nintendo's patents for mouse functionality of the Joy-Con was published online by the Japanese patent office, seemingly confirming the rumor that, I mean, you could see it in the teaser trailer, that you could use the Joy-Con as a mouse. So yeah, pretty cool. It'd be cool to see. We've talked about it before, so we won't go much into it. But it'd be cool to see what games that Nintendo specifically uses it for, and what third-party games could use it for. Because any more Nintendo introduces a gimmick, and maybe one other company other than Nintendo uses it. So it's like, because that's definitely something a lot of companies might want to like. Civ 7 and stuff. So
yeah,
that's my gaming news.
You can cut this out, but I googled it. Spider-Man PS4 budget was $350 million.
315.
So I'm like, okay, well, never mind.
But it's the fact that it's $100 million now,
and it's not even done. Yeah.
Done.
And new looks, I got quite a bit. So bear with me. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and Severance for the second episode in a row both had behind the scenes looks. Sinners got a new look at Michael B. Jordan, and the first look at Haley Steinfeld as a vampire. Nosferatu for the fourth episode in a row got a new behind-the-scenes look at Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok. Black Mirror Season 7, we got our first look at Kristen Milioti in the USS Callister sequel episode. Dogman for the third episode in a row got a new clip before it released. Invincible Season 3 got new look images before it premiered. Wednesday Season 2 got a new look. Stranger Things Season 5 first teaser art reveals Jane/11 is missing. Happy Gilmore 2 got a new look at Adam Sandler and Bad Bunny and a new behind-the-scenes look. First clip released of The Electric State, new look at Havoc, new clip of Inheritance, new look at A Working Man. The Last of Us Season 2 got our first look at Abby's crew, starring Caitlin Dever as Abby, Danny Ramirez as Manny, Taddy Gabrielle as Nora, Ariella Bearer as Mel, and Spencer Lord as Owen. New look at Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey, Isabella Merced, and Young Zeno, and it will likely take more than 2 seasons to adapt the second game, which, obviously, good. Jurassic World Rebirth for the 3rd episode in a row. Of course, a new trailer came this week. With that came new looks at Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali. First look at the T-Rex, Dilophosaurus, Titanosaurus, and a new Spinosauruses. First look at the new hybrid dinosaur which was inspired by the T-Rex, a Rancor, and a Xenomorph. Did you watch the trailer?
No, but I saw
the
bits
pictures.
and pieces.
It will include a callback to Jurassic Park with a banner scene, which they said the banner falls again due to the public losing interest in dinosaur exhibits. And it will lean into causing fear in the audience, which includes... which was I was going to bring up in quotes, but then they added it, includes finally adapting a scene from the Jurassic Park novel where the team attempts to drift through a lagoon in a raft without waking the T-Rex. One of my favorite scenes. Have you read the book?
No.
It's so good. That's one of the fan favorite scenes from that book, and eventually they get behind the waterfall, and I told you about it. I am so excited for this. I watched it 10 times within like an hour as soon as I got home from work, just when I was able to watch it. So excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm so excited. I need it to be good. But July's looking real good for movies. Andor Star Wars Story Season 2 got a new look at Diego Luna, new clip of Love Hurts before it released for the 2nd episode in a row. Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning got a new look at Tom Cruise hanging off a biplane. And for the 2nd episode in a row, Avatar Fire and Ash shows up. We got our first look at Palak, the chieftain of the Wind Traders, and new concept art for the battle that will take place. First looks of Lil Kev. First look at the adult animated series based on Kevin Hart's childhood. He will voice his 12-year-old self, and it will release on BET Plus in the spring. First look at Squid Game Season 3. First look at Oscar Isaac as Dr. Frankenstein and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. First look at Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig in Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery. First look at The Residence, which is a murder mystery series set in the White House. First look at The Righteous Gemstone Season 4. First look at the new adult animated series from BoJack Horseman creator Raphael Bob Waxberg, titled Long Story Short, releases later this year on Netflix. First look at Fear Street Prom Queen. First look at The Diplomat Season 3. First look at Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in Rip. Film follows a group of Miami cops who discover millions in cash in a derelict stash house. First look at Michael Shannon and Matthew McFadden in Death by Lightning. Stars Shannon as President James Garfield and McFadden as the man who would kill him. Executive produced by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. First look at The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Kagan in Hurry Up Tomorrow. Film follows a musician plagued by insomnia who gets pulled into an odyssey with a stranger who begins to unravel his existence. First look at the new Smurfs movie starring Rihanna as Smurfette, featuring an ensemble cast of Nick Offerman, Natasha Lyonne, J.P. Karliak, Dan Levy, Amy Sedaris, Nick Kroll, James Corden, Octavia Spencer, Hannah Waddingham, Sandra Oh, Alex Winter, Billy Lord, Zolo Maraduena, Kurt Russell, and John Goodman. John Goodman is Papa Smurf. J.P. Karliak is Gargamel.
And his brother...
and his brother...
Whatever.
Ishmael.
Ishmael.
No, it's not Ishmael, but...
or something like that.
Yeah.
So...
what do you think? This also comes out in July.
I grew up watching Boomerang a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot of reruns of shows that, our parents would have grown up watching. And, I love the Smurfs. Smurfs was one of my favorites. Obviously, I was a kid when the live-action Smurfs came out, so I liked them regardless of whether or not they were good.
Same.
But I could tell, as I was growing up, that those movies weren't the greatest. Mm-hmm. I will always have a nostalgic feeling for them, but from a critical standpoint, and then The Lost Village came out, and it was like, okay, so once again, we're going to focus on only Smurfette. Mm-hmm. None of the other Smurfs. Even though
it's going to be a singing pop star.
Singing pop.
Demi Lovato.
And I've heard that one's fine. That one's I've heard mixed things on it. Some people don't like it. Some people do like it.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it was a while ago, and I remember nothing about it. We will never get a better Gargamel than Hank Azaria.
Rainn Wilson did okay. I've heard some of the things.
He was Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, it was Rainn Wilson. But this one looks like it's a mix of the other two movies. It's just the other two movies as one movie, or it's Smurfs 2, because Smurfs 2 is the one that focuses on Smurfette, because Smurfs 1's about Clumsy.
Yeah. And I forgot this was going to be a live-action CG hybrid.
But Smurfs 2 is about Smurfette. Smurf: The Lost Village is about Smurfette. And it seems that just Smurfs, this one's just called Smurfs, starring Rihanna as Smurfette, is about Smurfette, with what seems to be James Corden Smurf. Like
That's where, yeah.
like that's the other main character they want to go with, not Hefty, not Brainy, not Papa Smurf, because they introduced his brother.
Influencer? Is James Corden the influencer?
No, he's
one?
not influencer.
Okay,
Smurf.
influencer is like a throwaway joke. Okay, good.
But anyway, this is as I don't get why they have to come to our world again. The world of Smurfs has so much to pull from that there are humans in the world of Smurfs that you could focus on if you really needed a human focus, which they didn't seem to be focusing on humans. So maybe it won't be so bad.
In this one?
Yeah, in this one.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
Maybe it won't be so bad, but I don't know. The art style is really good. I like the art style when it's in movement. When it's standing still, like the posters and stuff don't look great, but like when in movement, it looks awesome. Actually, like I think that's a pretty good, cool art style. But I don't know. I'm just kind of. I'm skeptical.
Of the 4 movies we're getting in July, big movies, this is number 4 for me.
Yeah, this one I'm like,
but it's because it's so
we'll
packed.
see. Obviously, I'm not in the target audience anymore. Smurfs is always going to try to appeal to kids and stuff. But like, I don't know. I just feel like you're not coming up with anything new because it looks like a mix of Smurfs 2 and The Lost Village.
Yeah.
Especially with the focus on Smurfette again. How many stories can you come up with that focuses on her? Unless it's just that they're making her the main character. It's not really focusing on her. Yeah. Then I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But
you could focus on Papa Smurf because Nick Offerman plays his brother.
It could be a focus on Papa Smurf, but they're using Smurfette as the marketing.
Exactly. That
could be it. Because I'm like, after 2 stories of Smurfette finding her purpose when she's the only girl Smurf, I feel like a third story like that, it's like, how many times can you tell that same story? Yep. I say as a fan of Scooby-Doo. How many times do Scooby and Shaggy have to prove themselves as helpful members of the team? But yeah, that is a 25-year-old man's critical analysis of Smurfs.
No, I think it's gonna. It looks all right.
Yeah, there were some jokes in it. There were sort of jokes in the trailer that made me laugh, like legitimately.
Oh yeah, like, there was also ones that made me cringe, like whenever they're cussing but using
Smurfity. Like, I
was like, the amount of times I've heard
they
that
will
joke?
not top. They will not top Neil Patrick Harris going Smurfity, Smurf.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that. There's no topping that. So.
Of course, it's Neil Patrick Harris. It's going to be hard to top anyway.
Yeah, but...
we got a first look at the rivals of Amzia King, starring Matthew McConaughey in his first lead role in years. The crime thriller follows a man who oversees the premier honey-making operation in town, but everything he has built is soon threatened. And we got a first look at Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively in Another Simple Favor. For the box office, Nosferatu, for the 4th episode in a row, has become one of the top 30 highest-grossing remakes of all time in the U.S. Neja 2 is, as of last week, was predicted to potentially become the first ever film to pass $1 billion in a single market, and it could potentially open to $400 million in China on the weekend of the 31st. I have not Googled that to see if it's past that or what it's at now. Dogman, for the 3rd episode in a row, opened with $36 million domestically on a $40 million budget, so it's going to be a box office success.
There's a mix of reasons why, I would say. It's solid, and also nothing else nothing else is out right now.
No.
I mean, Love Hurts was kind of like supposed to be a big one, but
Hard Eyes is probably going to make more.
But like nothing else that you'll take your kid to. And family movies.
No, and Moana is still out.
Family movies really do well in box office no matter what, because unless it has a lot of family movies to contend with.
Yeah, and you're not really going to have one until Paddington comes out next week, because I wouldn't consider Captain America a family movie. And Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has become Keanu Reeves' 4th highest grossing movie of all time. And new announcements: Enigma Variations. Jeremy Allen White will star in a bisexual romance series for Netflix. The story follows a man whose passion for a girl he'll meet again and again over the years is punctuated by anonymous encounters with men. It's an adaptation of a novel from Call Me By Your Name writer Andre Aciman. A musical based on The Lost Boys is coming to Broadway in spring 2026. An animated film adaptation of Oh, the Places You'll Go will release on March 17th, 2028 in theaters. Jill Colton and John M. Chu are co-directing the film with songs by Pasek and Paul.
Get ready for a beautiful poetic book to be turned into a buddy road trip movie.
Exactly.
You know that's what's going to happen
absolutely
to it.
what it's going to be.
Yeah. Because I feel like you make it a coming of age movie.
You could,
but it's going to be
absolutely.
turned into a road trip comedy. Like, you can't tell me that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't trust Netflix enough.
It's not on Netflix.
It's not on
theaters.
Netflix? It's in theaters? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Then it could be coming of age. Never mind.
I was like, is it
I'm so
Netflix?
cynical today.
Of course, we have such attachments to all the places you go because of.
Oh, there's a yeah. Our theater teacher read it to seniors every year.
It was one of the saddest days.
Yeah, and it's also a really funny joke. In You're cordially invited. I forgot about that.
No, keep going. What else does it say? Oh my goodness. The Jonas Brothers will star in a new Christmas movie releasing later this year on Disney+. The film follows the Jonas Brothers as they must face many obstacles to get home in time to spend Christmas with their families. I don't know why I left that 180. A TV series adaptation of Beyond Two Souls is in the works. Elliot Page is producing the series through Page Boy Productions. Jake Gyllenhaal will officially star in a supernatural romantic thriller directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The film is based on an original story co-created by Shyamalan and novelist Nicholas Sparks. Blue Falcon. Eddie Murphy will lead his first original comedy movie in years. The film follows a retired super spy who heads for the destination wedding of his son and finds himself in proximity with his arch rival. A Little House on the Prairie reboot is in the works at Netflix. Rebecca Sonnenschein, who was showrunner for The Boys, will serve as showrunner. A sequel to Romy and Michelle's high school reunion is in the works. Mira Sorvino and Lisa Kudrow are in talks to reprise their roles. Terrifier 4 is officially in the works, with Damien Leone calls the film a, quote, utterly satisfying conclusion. I will finally reveal Art's origin. Simu Liu says he is working on the rights holders to make a Sleeping Dogs movie happen. Den of Thieves 3 is in the works, with Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson Jr. expected to return. An Eddie Murphy documentary will release this year on Netflix. A sequel to Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius is seemingly in the works. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. It's based on someone updated their LinkedIn or something.
Yeah.
Which could mean something, could mean nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, as someone who has been a part or has witnessed a lot of gaming rumors based on, a sequel to this game could happen because someone updated the LinkedIn that they're working at.
It could mean something. It could mean nothing.
It could mean nothing. I want to believe Jimmy Neutron comes back so we get more Hugh Neutron and Carl Weezer.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see. Zac Efron and Will Ferrell will star in an untitled comedy film directed by Nicholas Stoller. The film follows a young convict fresh out of prison who takes a reality TV judge hostage, blaming him for ruining his life.
Zac Efron and Will Ferrell?
Mm-hmm. Which is reminds me, I just watched Neighbors 2 this week, and it was hilarious. I feel like that's going to be a good match.
Oh, yeah.
Zac Efron and Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
It's giving me Neighbors and Get Hard mix.
Yeah.
A Buffy the Vampire Slayer revival series in the works at Hulu, with Sarah Michelle Gellar returning to star, and Chloe Zhao will direct the pilot. The live-action Just Cause movie is moving forward with Aaron Rabin, who wrote Jack Ryan, writing the script, and Angel Manuel Soto, who helmed Blue Beetle, already set to direct. Bad Boy, Ke Kwan and Lily Reinhart will star in a new horror movie from the producers of Longlegs. The film follows a woman trying to escape a deadly serial killer, told from the perspective of the killer's dog. Animals, Ben Affleck will move forward with his kidnapping thriller, which he will direct and now also star in as the lead. Matt Damon was initially meant to star, but had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts, and Gillian Anderson has also joined the cast. Bucking Fastard, Kate Mara and Rooney Mara will star in Werner Herzog's new movie. Films based on the true story of two inseparable twin sisters who live on the fringes of society. Trust the Man, Daniel Radcliffe and Lucas Hedges will star in a Vietnam War thriller following an Army intelligence officer assigned to investigate a soldier with a mysterious past, and both men begin to develop an uncontrollable connection. A TV series pilot based on the Royce DuPont from the Entrepreneur TikTok page is in the works. Will be a mockumentary-style series produced by Danny McBride. A Victorious spin-off series focused on Daniela Monet as Trina Vega is in the works at Nickelodeon. I will follow her as the newest teacher at Hollywood's most elite performing arts school. And a live-action Bakugan movie is in the works with Brad Payton set to direct. I have three small pieces of miscellaneous announcements. The Odyssey will be partially filmed in Sicily, which, according to scholars, was a location Homer envisioned for the Odysseus' journey in the epic. It will shoot on Favignana, known as Goat Island, where Odysseus would have landed with his crew to barbecue goats and stock up on food. Once again, Christopher Nolan not using a green screen.
Going the extra mile, doing all that research. I'm actually as a history buff, that's awesome. I love that.
Exactly, same. Some Lego news. We got sets announced for a Minecraft movie.
Yep.
Woodland Mansion Fighting Ring will be $491 pieces, retailing for $49.99. And the Gas Balloon Village Attack will be 555 pieces, retailing for $69.99. Both releasing on March 1st.
Which I believe is Jack Black's first minifigure.
I think of him specifically, yeah.
Of anything that he's voiced.
Oh, that's right, because they didn't do one for the Mario movie.
Because they never did Mario.
No Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, unless you count Bowser being the Lego set.
But they never did
But they never
Mario
did one
movie
specifically based on the movie. But like when people talk about like, oh, Chris Pratt has this many minifigures, they sometimes include Mario as a joke.
I wouldn't include. Because that's not a minifigure.
It's the equivalent. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say I think this is Jack Black's first one. Because we were talking, I don't think it was you and me. I think it was me and Jacob and someone talking about like how, actors who have like the most amount of minifigures based on something they've been in. Like Robert Pattinson has 3, and like Samuel Jackson.
Twilight's coming.
Twilight, Harry Potter, and Batman.
Yeah.
And then like Samuel Jackson just has something crazy like 6 because it's like Nick Fury, Frozone, Mace Windu.
I think Chris Pratt is the most.
I think his character in Jurassic World or Jurassic Park has
he's in
a
the
minifigure.
gate.
And then there's a couple others, I swear. And then Chris Pratt has Star-Lord,
Owen, Emmett, Rex.
If we want to count that as
I'd
separate,
count
then
that as
4. Mario makes 5.
And that's not including the multiple iterations of it.
Yeah, that's just including one specific, like a character who's been turned into. Like Wayne Knight has 2. Mm-hmm. He has the Seinfeld one, and then
for Jurassic
Park. So anyway, that is a complete aside.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that like this is like you'd think the amount of stuff he's been in. Like we never got like a Kung Fu Panda Lego set. We never got a what other kid stuff has he been in? Like there's never been like a Lego Idea set for like School of Rock or Jumanji or anything. Maybe he's not been in that much that would actually be a Lego set.
Of course, we just can't think of it.
We just can't think of anything right now. But
and a live-action Pac-Man movie was in the works. Justin Baldoni was set to direct and try to get his team to release the news in August to get himself some positive PR. But now the film is in doubt after the sexual harassment and smear campaign lawsuit from Blake Lively. That is all my miscellaneous news. You want me to jump into Grammys?
Yeah, go ahead and jump into Grammys.
I'll get through those as fast as I can. I've been talking for a while. The Grammy Awards were this week, once again, in lieu of birthdays. Birthdays are going to have to take another back seat. Had I not gotten sick, we would have had birthdays show up last week.
Yeah.
I had them all ready to go. And I'm like, no. Kendrick Lamar swept every category he was in for the same song. Not Like Us, winning Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, and Best Music Video. Beyonce won Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, also Best Country Album, and Best Country Duo Group Performance for Two Most Wanted, featuring Miley Cyrus. Chappell Roan won Best New Artist. Sabrina Carpenter won Best Pop Solo Performance and Best Pop Vocal Album. Solo Performance for Espresso and Album for Short and Sweet. Justice and Tame Impala won Best Dance/Electronic Recording for Neverender. Charlie XCX won Best Dance Pop Recording for Von Dutch, and her album Brat won Best Dance Electric Album and Best Recording Package. The Beatles won Best Rock Performance for Now and Then. St. Vincent won Best Rock Song for Broken Man. Best Alternative Music Performance for Flea and Best Alternative Music Album for All Born Screaming. Doechii won Best Rap Album for Alligator Bites Never Heals. Samara Joy won Best Jazz Performance for Twinkle Twinkle Little Me featuring Sullivan Fortner and Best Jazz Vocal Album for A Joyful Holiday. Sierra Farrell won Best American Roots Performance for Lighthouse. Best Americana Performance for American Dreaming. Best American Roots Song for American Dreaming. And Best Americana Album for Trail of Flowers. CeCe Winans won Best Contemporary Christian Music Performance Song for That's My King and Best Gospel Album for More Than This. Thames won Best African Music Performance for Love Me Gigi. American Symphony won Best Music Film and Best Song Written for Visual Media for It Never Went Away. Centennial won Best Album Notes and Best Historical Album. Peter Gabriel won Best Engineered Album Non-Classical for I.O. and Best Immersive Studio Album for I.O. Inside Mix. And Ortiz Revolucion Diamantina won Best Orchestral Performance Award, Best Classical Compendium, Best Contemporary Classical Compendium. Elaine Martone won Producer of the Year Classical. Daniel Nigro won Producer of the Year Non-Classical. Amy Allen won Songwriter of the Year Non-Classical. Best Score for Soundtrack for Video Games and Other Interactive Media went to Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media, including film and television, went to Dune Part 2. Best compilation soundtrack for visual media went to Maestro, music by Leonard Bernstein. Last Sundays in Plains, a centennial celebration by Jimmy Carter, won Best Audiobook Narration and Storytelling Recording. Dave Chappelle's The Dreamer won Best Comedy Album. The Best Reggae Album went to Bob Marley, One Love, music inspired by the film Deluxe. Hell's Kitchen won Best Musical Theater Album. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars's Die With a Smile won Best Pop Duo Group Performance. And then there was multiple other winners. We'd be here for forever if I announced all the specific ones. So the rest of the winners were the Rolling Stones, Mooney Long, Lucky Day, SZA, Avery Sunshine, Nick's Worries, Chris Brown, Chick Cory and Bella Fleck, Dan Pugach Big Band, Michelle Indigio-Cello, Nora Jones, Taylor Egsty, Chris Stapleton, Casey Musgraves, Billy Strings, Taj Mahal Sextet, Ruthie Foster, Kalani Pea, Doe, Corey Henry, Shakira, Residente, Rawayana, Karen Leon, Tim's, Pascal LeBouf, Beyond the Years Unpublished Songs of Florence Price, Bach Goldberg Variations by Vikingur Olafsson, Rectangles and Circumstance by Caroline Shaw and So Percussion, Okre, Seriaho, Adriana Mater, Alma, by Saljay featuring Regina Carter, Bridge Over Troubled Water by Jacob Collier featuring John Legend and Tori Kelly, Bruckner, Symphony No. 7, Bates Resurrexic by Manfred Honeck and Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, Mind Games by John Lennon, Brillo Brillo by Lucky Diaz and the Family Jam Band, Trevini by Witter Kellerman, Uru Matsumoto and Chandrika Tandon, Alkebulan 2 by Matt B featuring Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, Bimba Cholera by Shella E featuring Gloria Estefan and Mimi Suker, Alma Corazon y Salsa, live at Grand Teatro Nacional by Tony and Mimi Suker. One Hallelujah by Tasha Cobbs, Leonard, Erica Campbell, and Israel Houghton, featuring Jonathan McReynolds and Jacqueline Carr. Woodland by Gillian Welch and David Rawlings. Cubop Lives by Luque Curtis, Zake Curtis, Willie Martinez, Camilo Molina, and Ronaldo de Jesus. Tank and the Bangas by The Heart, the Mind, and the Soul. 3 a.m. Rhapsody featuring Erica Badu. Gojira, Marina Viotti, and Victor Lemesnay for Mea Culpa a Carrera. And Espresso, Mark Ronson featuring FNZ Working Late Remix. I apologize for any of those butcherings. I was struggling there for a little bit. And that is all of my miscellaneous news for right now. If you want to take away with anime.
Yeah, no anniversaries this week. Just because of, you see how long you're into this episode already. So yeah. We got to look at season 2 of One Piece to celebrate the season wrapping production. It was the main 5 Straw Hats from season 1 at Logtown. So yeah. Very, very cool. Dragon Ball Daimaa's last episode airs February 28th. New Saga releases July 2025, originally slated for July 2023. After a grueling battle, the Magic Knight Kyle finally defeats the Demon Lord, or so he believes. He wakes up to find himself in the land that had been destroyed in his past life. He is reunited with the precious person he thought he had lost forever. To stop the human world from being destroyed again, along with his friends, Kyle uses his memory from his previous life to once again save the world. A fantasy saga about a brave knight. Once Upon a Witch's Death anime adaptation releases April 2025. On Meg's 17th birthday, she learns that she only has 1 year left to live. Her mentor, the eternal witch Faust, explains that she is cursed and the only way to save herself is to grow a seed of life using 1,000 tears of joy. Of course, such tears aren't easy to come by. As Meg begins her quest, she finds herself drawn into the lives of her friends and neighbors in ways she never imagined. By sharing her burdens and using her magic to comfort them, she learns how precious those moments of connection can be, even in the face of death. Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world premiered February 2nd. Oshinoko Season 3 premieres in 2026. The Anne Shirley anime premieres April 5th. My Hero Academia released a collaboration video with Captain America Brave New World featuring the character Hawks. And finally, The Catcher in the Ballpark premieres April 2025.
I got a little bit of comics news on DC. Superman, we got a new look at Superman and Lex Luthor. Lanterns, for the second episode in a row, camera testing has begun. And Zolo Mariduena says the Blue Beetle animated series is targeted to release in 2026, saying, quote, "We're hitting hard this animated project, hoping to get this settled out this year to show everyone next year." On the Marvel side of things, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, for the second episode in a row, got a 2-episode premiere, and then 3 more episodes dropped this week. The opening intro was released. We got a new clip and a new teaser before it released, and it's also already been renewed for season 3. All of the scripts for season 2 are done, and animatics are halfway done. I watched all 5 episodes. They're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I'm
really liking it.
I've heard good things about it, and I've heard mixed mixed things
Yeah.
because of that behind the scenes stuff. But
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff. The story is really good.
the story's really good.
Especially with what they do with Lonnie Lincoln. He's like this,
Yeah.
he's like the second main character.
It's always interesting because Batman does this too, but every Spider-Man reboot always has one well-known Batman or Spider-Man villain that is like a close friend of Peter's.
Yeah. And Lonnie,
It's usually Harry becoming Green Goblin or something, but like for it to be Tombstone this time, because before
Lonnie
it's been like
Lincoln.
Doc Ock and
Yeah.
Doc Ock is usually he's been close to Spider-Man a couple times, but it's like it's usually one of the big ones. But to have like Tombstone be the one that's close to,
And he's really been, honestly, he's been B plot all 5 episodes.
Yeah,
Because he's
so-
like, I'd say there's Spider-Man, there's Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
As like the lead. And then Lonnie. Will
So
be the next
it's-
one. So he's gotten a big role.
it's pretty cool to see
It's
because
really
like I
good.
said, Batman does that too, where like a lot of the times it's Two-Face. That's kind of like the Doc Ock of like if it's not. Actually, no. Two-Face is probably more like Green Goblin, where he's very much closely related to Batman. A lot of times, Harvey's usually Batman's best friend.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's been Penguin. And the Telltale series had to be Penguin, and the Batman from 2000, it's Clayface.
Yeah.
it was So it's cool when shows do that because it's like, oh, we take a well-known villain, we want to make him a little closer to.
Yeah. And then in doing that, a lot of like the villain of the episodes, do you want to call them, have been like ones that I'm like, who are those people?
Yeah.
Ones
Well,
like less than,
Stinkin',
I've had to Google almost all of them.
the football coach is actually a deep cut character from a Marvel NFL comic.
Really?
Yeah. Like I was looking through like the cast list. I'm like, this one has a Wikipedia page, and I clicked on it. It took me to an old NFL Marvel comic.
So they're pulling.
They're doing
Nico
deep
from
cut.
Runaways is Peter's best friend in this.
Yeah.
I love Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn. He has that voice where he can be so comforting, but I can just envision that voice being so evil. And I'm like, I'm waiting. I don't know if it'll happen because he's the Tony Stark version of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna happen or when. I can see. I think Coleman Domingo would be a really good evil Norman Osborn.
I know the description of this Norman Osborn is some of his decisions might not be to everyone's benefit. Is like
Yeah.
I mean, it's still Norman.
I mean, there's one
Osborn.
episode where like they're going through all of his suits. He's like, "Oh, try this suit. Try this suit," and they're very much not Spider-Man like. And he's like, "Well, this would be better for like public perception." And Spider-Man's like, "It's not Spider-Man. I can't function right. I'm scaring the children." There's literally a thing, but no, it's really good, and I'm loving the theme song. Daredevil Born Again for the second episode in a row. It revealed it will directly build off the events of the final scene of Daredevil season 3. And they compares the show to The Penguin. Both of these were showrunner Dario Scardapane saying these. He also said there is a violent action sequence that is, quote, straight out crazy and way farther past anything Daredevil ever did, and it's absolutely earned. And then Michael Gandolfini's character will be Wilson Fisk's protege, quote, who is pulled into a world he barely understands. Captain America Brave New World for the 9th episode in a row. New look at Red Hulk, new teaser, first clips, new look at Tiamat, new poster. And Harrison Ford, when asked who would win in a fight between Red Hulk and Hulk, he's like, it falls into the who shot first category, so the answer is Greedo.
Which, I'm sorry, Mr. Ford, you're wrong. Han
Exactly.
shot first.
I love how unserious Harrison Ford is about this.
Oh, yeah.
We commented on this whenever he was announced cast. He's like, you can ask him anything. He's not going to spoil it because he doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah, and it's just I love though that he is so passionate about this, but if you ask him about Star Wars, he's just done.
Exactly. He's like, no.
Because it's like you ask him about Indiana Jones, and he's genuinely like, yeah, I'll answer that question for you.
Yeah.
And he's like, so who would win in a shootout, Andy or Han? And he's like, I think I left my lasagna in the oven.
Exactly.
So
Have you heard the clip whenever he was on Conan O'Brien's
oh
podcast?
yeah.
He's like, I see you have written down there Han Solo. You had to write down who I was. He's like, I'm just doing my research. Agatha all along will not be getting a season 2. Jack Schaefer isn't interested in making second seasons. Avengers Doomsday for the second episode in a row. Benedict Cumberbatch now says he is in it, despite his previous comments, saying, I got that wrong. I am in the next one. Don't ever believe anything I say. On this flip side, Chris Evans said he is not returning, saying, quote, yeah, no, happily retired. Kraven the Hunter ends its box office run with $59 million worldwide, one of the lowest grossing comic book movies ever. Vision, for the second episode in a row, Ruridi Malika has been cast. Corley Fargett was in was in talks to direct Black Widow, but decided to focus on writing The Substance, which is now nominated for 5 Oscars. And then the biggest piece of Marvel news, we got our first trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps, as well as new posters. It features our first look at Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach as Marvel's first family, first look at Galactus and Herbie, and first look at John Malkovich's unannounced character. And the trailer debuted with 202 million views in its first 24 hours, which is one of the biggest debuts ever for a Marvel trailer. I happened to be awake and I didn't end up going anywhere. And so I also watched like the countdown and all that, and I was like, oh, seriously? And then it went to 1 hour, and I was like, no. And then it cut to like the actual thing. I loved how they announced it. They're inside like the space in Alabama. Mm-hmm. But trailer,
dude,
loved it. I loved it.
I'm so excited.
I am too.
I
Human Torch looks so good. It looks so good. We didn't get any. I did notice this. We got clips of or shots of what the powers for Sue and Johnny and Thing
obviously
look like.
Thing, yeah.
But we never got Pedro Pascal as like Stretchy.
I'm telling you, he better be stretching.
Oh, he has to. You has to.
It can't sting of being. We can't mess up two stretchy Marvel characters.
Exactly.
Some people think that shot of him at the long chalkboard, he's just going to stretch.
That's probably
probably going to be that. But it's you know what it is we know how Marvel is with their special effects team.
Yeah.
And the fact that much special effects is done already, it's like the stretching is probably not done yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I also like it. Well, I know it's not probably like this. I like to think of it like, oh, they're showing his power of like how smart he is with like the chalkboard and like you see like the quantum multiverse kind of thing. Parallel where I'm like, that's also his big power, other than like obviously being able to stretch, because he's one of the smartest people alive.
Yeah, dude.
I loved it.
Ben being just human. And like, look,
exactly.
You see the amount of kids that love him in the trailer. Like they have these toys, and the poster
and the
has
masks,
a little girl.
And they're wearing, they're loved in this. Fantastic Car looked good. I love the score.
And I know we're keep harping on this, but Ben looks so good.
He does.
Like comic accurate. There's going to be the people that are like, dude, that looks bad.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's because haven't we said it before? Isn't he also it's a mix of CGI and practical effects?
Yep.
So like, there's probably a little bit of like that might look a little weird to people, but like, dude.
Okay. I saw the meme where he's like, I'm just going to add a little bit of patriotic, not because it's bad, because I'll add a little of this. And Herbie's like...
Herbie's just like, you say that again.
say it again to me now.
I'm also glad that it seems that Herbie's not talking, so they didn't just decide to go with a... for now, we'll see, but like, some...
Then I did hear people theorize that Natasha Lyonne would be the blind girl.
The blind girl that Ben falls in love with,
interest.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I thought from the beginning Paul Walter Hauser could be Herbie. Mm-hmm. It'd be a good moment.
We'll see.
I don't know who John Malkovich is going to be.
But, yeah, it's going to be... I am so excited. The fact that they're calling it First Step still makes me think that Sue and Reed are going to be having a kid.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And then I think it was Jacob told me this theory that it might actually end with Galactus consuming their world, and they have to go to another universe to warn everybody.
Because they are in Doomsday.
Because I could see the whole like Doomsday's plot of bringing Galactus to the multiverse, so he could bring everyone to one universe for him to rule or something.
Exactly.
Like that would be a good plot maybe. So
yeah, I do think, just going off of like how Hollywood works, I do think Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom will show up in like a post-credit scene.
Oh, absolutely.
As a small thing. Just because when they announced Jonathan Majors was going to play Kang so far ahead of Quantumania being done, it's because he was going to be in Loki season 1.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to show up before Doomsday comes out. But I don't want him to be like a big part in this. Big like main villain.
It kind of stinks that he's not going to be a big part because he's Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
But Dad and I were talking about this. I have this fear that he's not going to be like his relationship with the Fantastic Four is not going to be as prevalent, and it's going to be something like because he's a variant of Tony Stark or something. He's gonna.
I hope he's not a variant.
He's gonna. It's going to be more about Peter Parker or something. And I hope they don't do that because Dr. Doom is such a good villain.
He is. I hope they don't go with the Tony Stark.
And his relationship with Reed Richards is just, one of those like even if it's just mentioned in passing in the movie of like, well, you know what happened to to
because they
Victor
are
and-
like they're established already. There's heroes already. They've been heroes, so they could have been like they've already
dealt with
done
him,
their whole Doom thing. But
and
then,
he's
like,
off in. They just mentioned something like, well, you know what happened with Victor, so
Yeah.
we better be careful this time, or something like that.
Yeah, establishing that it is a thing. But
Or we're wrong. He doesn't show up in the after credit scene as Catherine Hahn showing up, being like, "I heard you need a babysitter."
no.
Because she does because in the comics she
know.
babysits the kids.
That is all my comic news. I do have a couple of celebrity deaths. Ryan White Maloney, who was 44, who was The Voice Season 6 alum. Ken Flores was 28, comedian and Netflix's A Daily Joke guest. Marianne Faithfull was 78, Grammy-nominated singer and actress. Irv Gotti was 54, Murder Inc. record label founder who launched Ja Rule and Ashanti to stardom. Brian Murphy was 92, comedian and Man About the House actor. P.H. Moriarty was 85, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels actor. Joe Hale was 99, Disney animator known for, among many things, The Black Cauldron, Sleeping Beauty. Adam Manzano was 27. He was a sports reporter. He died in New Orleans while he was there to cover the Super Bowl. Tony Roberts, he was 85, Annie Hall actor and frequent Woody Allen collaborator. And Dick Button was 95, figure skater analyst who voiced himself in Animaniacs. And my sources this week are Deadline, Movie Insider, IMDb, Games Radar, People, at Konbini FR, Variety, Games Radar, already said that, IndieWire, The Wrap, Wall Street Journal, Elle, Collider, People, SFX Magazine, Business Insider, Brickset, Esquire, TV Line, The Times, The Insider, The Direct, comicbook.com, and MovieWeb.
I want to thank my sources discussing film, IGN, Indie Informer, Crunchyroll, at Stealth40K, and all sites and socials of the studios mentioned today. And we are doing another series of small tier lists. Next month will be a big tier list. We promise
It'll be worth it.
But January and February, very obviously, have been
between
nuts
busy
for us.
and
So
we're doing as many things as go. As you know, the Super Bowl is, well, when you will be listening to this, it happened.
So we are going to be ranking movies whose trailers, like first trailers debuted at the Super Bowl.
I did meticulous research. And you think there's a lot, but no. Surprisingly, I went back over a decade, and I could only find 11 through 2010 that actually had their first trailers released at the Super Bowl, not like a week before. Not like a lot of these were released in like December. Mm-hmm. But all 11 of these did have their first trailers debut at the Super Bowl. So we're going to start with Cowboys and Aliens.
Dude, it has been so long since I've watched this movie.
It has been a couple years. I would say the all right category.
All right.
I remember enjoying it, but it's not.
Okay, we can put it in all right.
Best. These are in alphabetical order. Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's obviously so
last
good.
year, so good.
Yeah, so
a lot
good.
of these will harken back to our tier list from 2 episodes ago. The Flash.
That's bad, man.
Yeah.
It's bad. I'm sorry.
Even Michael Keaton couldn't
even
save
the
it.
redeeming things about it. No, there's no saving that movie.
No.
That's bad.
Yeah. Which I wish Michael Keaton was able to save it. Hobbs and Shaw. I'm going to say the good
I
tier.
remember that one being good. Yeah,
Good tier.
it's good.
It's a good time. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I haven't watched it. I've heard all right. Some
I
people
was
might
gonna say all
some
right.
people might argue bad, but also
Some people would argue. I say some. Most people would argue bad. I'm going to say all right because
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. My dad enjoyed it.
and Harrison Ford enjoyed it.
Harrison Ford, he did. We don't need AI to bring. We're
Yeah.
not getting into that.
Yeah,
Jurassic World Dominion.
good. I think it's good. It's not
I think
great.
it's not great. It's definitely not great. I would say below Hobbs and Shaw and
Below
good.
Hobbs and Shaw, and good. Okay,
Yeah. Mission Impossible Fallout. So good.
so good.
That is so good. Henry Cavill's, of course, iconic arm reload. Nope. Which neither of us have seen.
That's the
Jordan Peele one. Where
Jordan
it's
Peele.
not
The
a Planet,
Aliens.
The Alien one.
I've
Daniel
heard,
Kaluuya.
let's put that in awesome because I've
I'm
heard
with-
heard it's actually really, really good.
That's where I was thinking. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. No clue.
No clue. I've never
Based
watched
off what
it.
I've heard.
Never even read the books.
No.
So
I was going to say all right based
All
on
right.
what I've heard.
okay.
Twisters. Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm going to say above Nope. And then, of course, Wicked.
Wicked is so
Last
good.
year. So good.
So good.
Should we put it above Deadpool?
Yeah.
Above Deadpool?
It has more of an appeal than like a broad appeal than Deadpool does. So
Yeah, but yeah. And, of course, is nominated for all those Oscars. So this is our very short tier list for this week. Of course, in the So Good category, we've got Wicked, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Mission Impossible Fallout. Awesome category, we have Twisters and Nope. Good category went to Hobbs and Shaw and Jurassic World Dominion. All right, went to Cowboys and Aliens, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Just realized, double Harrison Ford category. And Bad went to The Flash, sitting by itself. The only solo one in this category.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on this week.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those interactive things. You can follow the podcast on most social medias at Mondays for Nerds. You can follow me, Tristan Stump, on most social medias at Sir Stumpsalot or Sir Stumpsalot17.
Follow me on Twitter at Chris M. Pratt. No,
Poe the Panda 001.
I think Chris M. Pratt fan is my Instagram. Also, watch our YouTube video. We started our Let's Plays.
We did. As of this past week, we started posting our Let's Plays. Wednesdays are for Let's Plays. Heave Ho is our episode out now. Look forward to this Wednesday.
We have some coming already booked.
We have some already booked. February. So hope you enjoy those. Definitely give those a watch if you do enjoy Let's Play watching. We've already gotten some feedback.
Some good
feedback on it. So
it gets a little bit insane.
So we will see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.